And welcome back, everyone, to the last part of What If Yugi Moto Was the Lead of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So, we left off with Season 3, and like I've stated before, I like all of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. In fact, I actually enjoy Season 1 and 2 a bit more than some of the parts of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. A lot of people apparently are really big fans of Season 3 and the undubbed Season 4. You ever think they'll redub that, by the way? Like, give it a dub? Who knows? I think the voice actors at this point may have aged out of that. But, thanks for a lot of them. I mean, Crowler could still maybe do his voice, but still. Yeah, it's like more like Skeletor. Yes! Jaden! You got an F! But, regardless. I'm not... People apparently are big fans of those seasons. I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, I like the whole of it. Season 3 is probably my least favorite. It just gets really weird. Like the extra dimension, fighting the duel monsters, dueling them, like it's just weird. Like it's weird even by, I think, Yu-Gi-Oh!, at least for me. And I think the reason I find it weird is because it kind of negates the slice of life thing we had going on in Season 1, and for the most part, to be honest, in Season 2. I mean, you have the Society of Light as the main bad guys. But a lot of those duels feel just more small and less at stake. Like there's less stakes theoretically. There's still stakes, but it just feels smaller and more, like I said, slice of life. So when you suddenly go into other dimensions and the wackiness that's going on there, it comes off odd to me. It didn't strike a good balance, in my personal opinion. That's just my personal opinion. Season 4, when I did finally get around to watching it, I do think it was a step up from Season 3. I do like Season 4 more. Because it feels, while I can still feel the lack of the slice of life, it kind of felt like it went more back to what it originally was. Regardless, we left off Yugi and Atem would be stuck in that dimension after, saving Yubel and helping her out. But I could also see her using her power to send them back. But even so, I could still see them getting out of there eventually with Atem, them practicing with Atem's powers, whatever they may be in this case. I mean, we know what Atem's powers are, more or less. It's influencing fate, influencing draw, infinite energy, things along those lines. Yugi would come back, laying down to Earth. Cyrus was obviously being Obelisk Blue at this point. And a big question that has to come up is, has Yugi changed like the way Jaden had changed? Because Jaden had changed personality-wise quite a bit, honestly. He lost his actual love of the game. And that's more or less what the whole final duel with Yugi was about, is that he needed to regain his love of dueling. He was doing so many death matches that he completely lost that. I don't think that's the case, because there's no real Supreme King scenario here, because Atem is the Pharaoh. He's not the Supreme King. And even if they try to get like a Dark Pharaoh out of him, I don't think that would work. That worked with the Orichalcos once, but that, to be fair, the Orichalcos is filler, so technically that's not even canon. But it still happened with the Orichalcos once, but I don't think in a canon storyline you're going to get that. You should also note that the GX manga is drastically different than the GX anime. We're not even talking like Dragon Ball Super different. We're talking like as different as Dragon Ball Super's and manga is from its anime. They're still sticking with the general story points. No, the manga is like drastically different. Regardless, Yugi and Atem would be back, and they would still be sensing the darkness all over the place. I also think that they would still gain Honest into the deck. Not that it would matter for the final duel, but they would gain Honest as in their deck, because Honest Neos is actually pretty busted. Yeah, it's actually pretty busted. And Honest is a pretty busted card, too. So they'd be back in the slice of life, but they'd be still sensing like when the darkness rises, like when the Horus duelist got possessed. By the way, it was great to see Horus, Black Flame Dragon. Of the two-armed dragon and Horus, I'm a Horus guy myself. And they'd be going through the general things that went on there. Now, one thing that happened in the GX 4th season that I did a what if on was Alexis almost confessing to Jaden that she loved him. But here's the problem. Jaden's personality was very different from Yugi's. Yugi was just a nice guy, but a little on the meek side. All that, he's not as chill, go with the flow, just a less zest for life as Jaden is. And I think that was one of the big things that attracted her to him. So I don't see her having feelings for Yugi here. I don't. By the by, since I'm going to stop right here because I should address the timeline, because I'm still getting people not who are aware of what we did with this what if, or what I did with this what if. So when I did the first video, I'm like, oh cool, great, he's got a Tem, all that. But then people basically said, but then I had people asking, well, wait, is this the same world as the first what if you did? Because you gave Jaden a Tem in that. And when they said that, I quickly realized, crap, that's right. Because my intent initially was actually to have this in canon with the original. But the whole idea of putting Yugi in one of the series is so he would have a Tem. It's like, you're basically taking the character as they are. So, like, Yugi gets a Tem. Jaden gets Win Karibo or Yubel. Yusei doesn't have it. He would have a sign. No, Yusei would have a signer mark. Yuma would have Astral. That's the whole point of putting them in the series, is to kind of give them the things they had and have them grow as they did. So ultimately what I backtracked in doing was, it's a similar timeline where Jaden was the lead in Duel Monsters, but except where it was concerned the Millennium's item stuff didn't happen, or the Duel Monster stuff just hasn't happened yet. Like the Millennium, the Area Hunters, all that actually hasn't happened yet. So Maximilian Pegasus actually still has a Millennium Eye in this world. Either way, it's alternate timeline shenanigans is what we're trying to get at here. So Yugi has not freed of a Tem, none of that. Because Yugi, if we're going with Yugi after a Tem got freed, he would be way too, he'd be way too old to be a part of Duel Academy. Although, to be fair, I don't believe there's actually an age cutoff for being in Duel Academy. It's kind of like college in that sense, but it's treated more like high school. So, regardless, that's just what I wanted to get out there. But obviously, we need to get to the big proponent of this what if, and it's not the Duel of Jaden. Honestly, the Duel of Jaden, the Duel Monster champion Jaden, would more or less be the same here. It's just that Yugi lacks Slifer, so he probably would lose the duel, as Jaden allegedly was supposed to do as well. That said, Yugi, we're dealing with Nitro. Let me actually get the image here so we can really get it down now, folks. Dealing with Nightshroud, the final antagonist of GX. And look, you want to talk about final boss designs? That's a final boss design. But more to the point, Yugi would immediately be sensing, and Yami would immediately be sensing all of the darkness around, like, seriously. And they're quickly taking out the subordinates. No problem. They can handle it. They team back up with Jesse, handle the Clear World duelist. I can't remember actually his name. But then Jesse apparently got yoinked by Nightshroud. Must have gotten beaten quickly in a duel, whatever, because Jesse was gone when Jaden showed back up. And then Nightshroud appears. And, a Tem immediately shows up saying, "You, the nameless pharaoh, the one who resists the dark. You really think you can stop me? I am dark. Darkness exists in everything, even you." And here's the problem. Here's an actual problem for Yugi. Is that Nightshroud and all the Darkness Beings were basically able to yoink people by playing up on their hidden darknesses. Now, we learned with someone like Hasselberry, he didn't have any inherent darkness. However, because there was a fossil implanted in his leg, and because I believe it was like a herbivore or something like that, what he did is he played off the extinct animal's anger and rage of dying or being hunted. And that worked. Now you get a Millennium Puzzle, Millennium Item, which if you know the history of the Millennium Items, Those things, I believe, are gold forged in blood, if I'm not mistaken. There is a dark, and the amount of souls that were used to make those, like people's lives given, it's a dark freaking history of the Millennium items. And that is not good. That means Yugi or Atem, one of the two, could actually be stolen. And in fact, that might actually be a really good plot point I didn't even consider until just this moment, where Atem comes out, the nameless pharaoh. But you think your power is great, near infinite, something that could match even the darkness. As like you're no match. You don't stand down now. Release everyone, or I will make you release, or you'll answer to me. So I answer to only myself. No darkness. No one is without darkness. Not even you, Pharaoh. But and all of a sudden, the Millennium Millennium Puzzle, you actually see like energy start to be stripped off. It's like, what is this? It's like, Pharaoh! Unfortunately, your power is too great for me to completely get what would be the terminology? His power is too great to be removed completely. So I shall take you out of this equation, and once I beat your vessel, nothing will stop me. Not you, not him, not you, not anyone. And like he literally uses his powers to rip the Millennium Puzzle off of Yugi, and basically just keep Atem sealed in it. And Atem just kind of like watching, Yugi! It's like, you can do it, Yugi. I believe in you. And so, yeah, Atem is actually one of those individuals. Who Atem himself, at his full potential, I think he could compete with the Nightshroud and probably beat him. But because of the nature of Millennium items, that's a double-edged freaking sword. So, and because his spirit is contained in the Millennium item, in a Millennium Puzzle, yeah, it's actually not good. But Yugi, is up to snuff, ready to party, ready to throw down. Let's do this. All right. Yes, we're going. Wonderful. On we go, said the quote Willy Wonka. And so the duel begins. And Nightshroud started out with the magic card Darkness, which let him randomly set Infinity, 0, and Darkness 1, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, that's in the randomly set 0, Infinity, Darkness 1, 2, and 3, and then he summoned Darkness Eye, which lets him see his cards, and he ended his turn. Now, Yugi's draws, and his draw consist of where are you? Where are you, my friend? There we go. Marsh Macaron, Silent Swordsman, level 7, Clear Karibo, Dark Horizon, Silent Swordsman, and Dig of Destiny. He sets Dig of Destiny and Dark Horizon down. Dark Horizon, basically, when you take battle damage of any kind or life point damage, activate and summon a spellcaster equal to the amount of damage you took. Dig basically lets you negate an attack, and draw a card, and if it's in, you can draw multiple cards for amount of digs in your grave. But he summons the immediate, when I did it, because I did this randomly, and I actually went with his Dark Side Dimension deck here. He summons his MVP, folks. He summons the one, the only, the GOAT, Marsh Macaron. Now, you might be asking, wait, what the hell are you talking about? And we're going to put him in defense of him. Well, actually, let's first give you a chance to read it. You might be wondering, how is this thing the GOAT? Well, Darkness activates Infinity and 0 and Infinity to destroy Marsh Macaron. But if you actually read the effect of Marsh Macaron, which I can get up here, if you can read, it's a little blurry. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon up to 2 other Marsh Macarons from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Now, you can only activate this effect once per turn. However, if you end up having two on the field, or one on the field or whatever, basically, you need to actually board wipe the Empire if you remove this thing from play or bounce it back, because otherwise, or just have so many or have enough creatures to basically outpace the ability, because otherwise, you aren't getting rid of this thing. Now, I don't know what the limit of Marsh Macaron. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can have up to 3 in your deck. It's 3. That's the limit of any Yu-Gi-Oh card. Some are limited, but yeah. So, because of that, this thing is like next to impossible to get rid of. Next to impossible. Not entirely impossible. For example, if he took control of it and sacrificed it, that would get rid of it. If Yugi summons out 2, but he still had 2 other creatures to destroy it, or 2 other effects to destroy it, that would get rid of it. However, he doesn't. So 2 macarons come out. Now he summons a monster without tribute. Something dark. They're all darkness monsters, and the problem is he can't really activate the effect because it'd be an irrelevant effect. He destroys 1 Marsh Macaron, and quickly it comes out again. And he quickly realizes, I can't get through this. Yugi would have drawn Stone Sentry, which is an upgraded version of Big Giant Soldier of Stone. He again summons it. At least destroyed the Giant Soldier of Stone. The Marsh Macarons again come back. Yugi, though, ultimately has another version of Gandora in his deck. And because he has 2 Gandora. He has the standard Gandora, which was, one second here, where is my Yugi Moto Dark Side Dimensions deck? There it is. He had the standard Gandora Dragon of Destruction, which removed cards. However, there's another Gandora that hasn't actually, as far as I know, had a card officially made of it yet, that Yugi had in his deck. Now, if you'll give it, you're just gonna have to give it a second to actually get that card up. It was like Gandora Super Destructor Dragon or something like that. And in essence, what it did when you sacrificed it and brought it out was to actually not just blow up the field, but do life point damage based on the amount of damage dealt, amount of cards destroyed, and it still gained attack for however many cards or creatures you destroyed, if I'm not mistaken. So ultimately, it's just going to come down to the battle of attrition, where Yugi ultimately draws his ace card, Gandora, brings it up, just wipes the entire field, and basically it has to end Nightshroud there, because Nightshroud at that point, even if he didn't wipe out Nightshroud's life points, would be pretty much having to try to top deck from there on in. And top decking, not fun when you're behind. Top decking is kind of fun when you're ahead, but the only way you can be ahead after top decking is if you did like Chaos Emperor Dragon or something like that. All right, here's the card I was talking about. You can't see the card, but I'm literally got it in front of you right now. It's Gandora X, the Dragon of Demolition. So it's still its 8-star card, so it costs 2 to summon, which would mean 2 Marsh Macarons. When this card is normal or special summoned from your hand, you can destroy as many other monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the highest original attack on the field among those destroyed monsters. Your choice if tied. This card's attack becomes equal to the damage inflicted to your opponent. Once per turn during your end phase, have your life points. So in essence, all he's got to Yugi would wait this out for a little bit until he's able to finally draw this card. Keep in mind, Darkness also had a 4,000 beat stick on the field too, which I can't remember the full name of that card, but it was another Darkness card. Regardless, yeah, he summons that card out, and it's game over because he brings out Gandora, destroys that card with Gandora's effect, and then that amount of damage is then directly applied to his life points. So ultimately, Nightshroud would be defeated. The Pharaoh is released. Everyone else is saved. All is well that ends well. But there's one last thing to talk about, and that's what Yugi does after graduation. Because obviously you would still have the duel with Jaden. He's not sure. Yugi, as a fun duel with Jaden, ultimately loses the duel. It feels like, oh, you're okay with losing, Yugi? I'm okay. Are you okay with it? It's like, it's not about me, Yugi. Still, well, we still have a lot to do, including figuring out your real name and purpose. It's like, yes, but I know together we'll be able to do it. It's like, friends. That's right. And so really what happens is the events with like duel monsters, finding the Pharaoh's true name, Zark, would all actually, at least in this world, happen after GX. And then ultimately he learns Atem's name. He meets back up with like Joey, all that, Seto Kaiba, you name it. And they all have their adventures. So that is the end of What If Yugi Moto was the lead of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you guys for the next one. There will be a poll up before I leave to go out today, because I go out on Saturdays, for what the next What If on Saturday is going to be. So keep your eyes out for those. Until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.